Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2026. It is day 19 of our life cycle of a chicken unit. The life cycle lasts 21 days in the eggs before the embryos, the chicks, are born. And what we've done along the way is we have looked at the growing embryo inside the eggs. We've looked how he has grown and changed all throughout this process. From the very beginning, there were very quick changes to the embryo's growth. So we started with a heartbeat on like day one almost, and we had blood vessels coming out. We have an umbilical cord. There are feathers now. There is a beak, a hardened beak, claws, wattle and comb. We've talked about lots of different vocabulary words. This is today, day 19. It says the remaining yolk sac goes inside the body. So see this yellow yolk spread out everywhere. It used to be, when we first put the embryos in, a small circle of yolk, right? And it has started dissipating throughout the whole egg throughout this process, because you've got a hot incubator, a hot, wet incubator that is basically spreading that yolk, that yellow egg, out, right? Well, part of that, all of this yellow egg is protein. It's the part that becomes part of the embryo. I know that's kind of strange, but it's like he sucks up all the area that has been floating around him, and it actually becomes part of his stomach. Those are the nutrients and vitamins and things that come into his stomach and make him feel full for the first day. That's why he can stay in the incubator for a day before having to come out and eat something or drink something. His stomach is already full. He's already totally full. Isn't that neat? So today what's happening is the yolk sac, all this rest of this yellow stuff is coming straight up into his stomach and filling up his stomach and making him very full, so that he can make it when he gets out of the shell in the incubator, and he has to stay in there for another day. Remember, the pipping and zipping time takes a full day, 24 hours, and then they have to stay in there another day, 24 hours, before they can come out and go into the brooder box. Today we're going to look at two vocabulary words: thermometer and thermostat. I bet you've heard of a thermometer before. Thermometer, maybe you've seen one kind of like this, or one of those machines that, like Nurse Cindy may have one of these, where you press a button, you put it on your forehead, and you swipe it across your forehead to see your temperature. That is a thermometer. A thermometer is an instrument for measuring temperature. It simply says how hot or how cold something is. You can't really take a thermometer and set the temperature, right? It just tells you how hot or cold something already is. That is what we have inside our incubator. Now, this is a picture of an old incubator, right? Ours is fancy. It's automatic. But this is one where you put O's on one side and X's on the other. You turn the eggs over. This little line coming down from the motor at the top of the incubator, this is the thermometer. It has a little plastic piece down here that lays in the bottom, and it measures how hot or how cold it is in there. Our incubator is a whole lot easier to maintain the proper temperature in it, because it does it for us. It's automatic. Now, a thermostat is our second word for today. Did you see the first part of that? Thermo and thermo. So we have the same word part, prefix, at the very beginning of this word, and then we have a different part at the end. So this one has meter at the end, and this one has stat. Let's see the difference. Thermostat is a device that controls the temperature. So when you have a thermometer in your mouth, this piece does not control how hot or how cold you are. It's simply telling you how hot or how cold you are. This is a thermostat. We have one of these in our room. I bet you have one of these in your house, where you can walk over to it and you control the temperature. You can make it warmer. You can make it colder. This is a thermostat, and this is a thermometer. One tells you how hot or cold it is, and one of them has control over that. Thermostat, you have control over the temperature. So let's look at it in the incubator. This part about the top where it says temperature and an up or down button, this is our thermostat. This is our control of the temperature. The thermometer on this one is going to be down here. See that little line hanging down from the top, that tiny little black line back there? Let me see if I can zoom in on it. See it? That part tells the thermostat up here, this little thermometer tells the thermostat the temperature. So the thermometer is the part measuring how hot or how cold it is. Today is 19, which means we're going to take the lid off of this incubator. We're going to take the trays out, and we're going to actually place the eggs down on this crate at the bottom. Why are we doing that? We've learned along the way, right, that for the first 18 days, the eggs are turned multiple times a day. In regular nature, a hen will turn the eggs how many times a day? When she gets up to go to the bathroom, eat, and drink, she turns the eggs about 3 times a day. In our incubator, it does it almost every hour. It's like every hour, rock this way or rock that way, right? So this incubator is trying its very best to get these embryos to develop. And so far, as we've been candling them, we have seen really good growing embryos inside. Healthy growing embryos. So we hope that they will all make it to day 21. All right, so we're taking each one of these little yellow trays out. We're laying all of our eggs down on the bottom. And then what's going to happen for the last 3 days, day 19, day 20, and day 21, is that the temperature, and this incubator does it automatically, the temperature is going to rise. You want the temperature to be, instead of 99.5, you want the temperature to be between 100 and 101 for the last 3 days. And you want the humidity, remember we've kept our humidity, the water in the air, at 55%. Now we want the humidity at 70 to 75%. So we want that air inside there to be really, really hot and sticky. Now what I'm going to do is sort of separate these, because when they start pipping and zipping, they'll roll all over each other for sure. Like you'll see eggs in here. Once you start seeing them pip and zip, you'll see them rolling around because they're trying to get out, right? But I'm going to separate them because as they do come out of the shell, they will have shell pieces in here that we need to remove. And we don't want to leave all those shell pieces in here to be in the way of all the other ones that are hatching, right? So we're just going to separate these and spread them all out and get them all a good little spot for their birth. This is like their birthday in here, isn't it? All right, today is day 19. We've learned a lot of information today. You guys are going to be writing about it in your book. And we are all set with our eggs. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23. We have 23 eggs going into our last 3 days. How exciting!